Beneath the soft and endless sky, the medieval castle lay upon its hill like a great guardian of dreams, its towers silvered by moonlight, its walls breathing with the faint glow of lanterns that swayed along the battlements, and inside this fortress of stone and stillness, a queen prepared for rest, her chamber alive with the flicker of gentle candles, their light reflecting upon tapestries of deep blue and gold, each thread whispering ancient stories of abbeys and cloisters, gardens, and chapels, tales carried from the past into the quiet of her night. And as the queen moved slowly across the polished stone floor, her secret gown followed in silence, woven not only from silk but from starlight and memory, each seam carrying a hush of comfort, each fold a promise of peace, and when she touched the gown, she felt her burden soften, the weight of the day dissolving like mist upon the meadow at dawn, her heart beating slower, her breath flowing softer, the chamber itself leaning closer to cradle her in calm, and outside the window, the stars leaned near too, lanterns of the heavens watching, shimmering with kindness, as if guarding her path into dreams. She closed her eyes for a moment and imagined herself wandering into the castle gardens, the air cool, the roses bending beneath pearls of dew, the fragrance of lavender and rosemary drifting in the breeze, her gown brushing gently against the grass like a river of silver light, and each step lighter than the last until she came to the moat, where lanterns floated like stars upon the water, their reflections trembling but never breaking, and the sound of ripples lulled her deeper, each movement a lullaby for her spirit, and she lingered there, listening to the water, breathing with the water until the garden seemed to open like a dream, its arches and hedges unfolding into cloisters of quiet stone. Asterisk within these cloisters, arches framed the stars, their patterns traced by the moon, and monks moved softly with candles cupped in their hands, their robes trailing like shadows, their prayers unspoken yet felt in the air, like a hum of peace beneath all things, and the queen followed them into the abbey, where the walls held the scent of beeswax and parchment, of roses pressed between the pages of forgotten books, and the silence inside the chapel was a silence that glowed, a silence that sang, a silence that rested deeper than any sound could reach, and she sat within it, her secret gown glowing faintly as though it remembered every star from which it had borrowed its light, and her breath slowed again, deeper now, steadier now, like a harp string touched by the gentlest hand. And with every breath, her thoughts drifted farther away, like petals carried down a stream, soft, unhurried, timeless. And in this dream, she wandered again, back into the castle gardens, then along the echoing halls, then through hidden stairways where torches burned low. And each time she found herself before the abbey once more, each time the dream began again. Always calm, always safe, always circling back like a soft refrain of music, reminding her that peace is endless, and that sleep is not a single moment but an ever-deepening path. Asterisk the night stretched onward, and the castle itself seemed to sigh, its stones warm with candlelight, its towers wrapped in drifting clouds, the watchmen's lanterns steady as their footsteps faded into silence, until only the stillness remained and the queen's gown wrapped around her as though it had become the night itself, carrying her deeper into rest, into dreams where castles floated upon rivers of candlelight, where abbey bells rang not with sound but with silence, where gardens shimmered beneath stars that leaned closer and closer, stars that whispered lullabies without words, and in these dreams she found no end. Only a gentle unfolding, only comfort without boundary, only peace without edge. And as her breathing softened to the rhythm of the world around her, her secret gown glowed faintly in the hush, a reminder that even in the quietest hours she was never alone, for the night itself held her. The castle cradled her, the abbey blessed her, and the stars above kept watch, their lanterns eternal in the sky. And now, dear listener, as you drift with her, let the lanterns guide your thoughts. Let the candlelight soften your breath, let the abbey's stillness enfold you, and let the queen's secret gown wrap gently around your own spirit, carrying you deeper, slower, softer into the quiet kingdom of sleep, where peace is endless, and where dreams will hold you until morning. And if you enjoyed this medieval sleep story, remember to return tomorrow night for another journey into dreamtime. And so the night deepened, and the castle breathed as though alive, its stones warmed by centuries of silent prayers, its towers leaning gently toward the stars, and within, the queen drifted further into dream, her secret gown trailing softly behind her, whispering with every fold, carrying her deeper through corridors lit by quiet torches. Corridors where tapestries shimmered with scenes of forest, rivers, and long-forgotten journeys, all woven with threads of gold that seemed to move in the candlelight as though alive, and she paused to look at them, her fingers brushing the fabric, feeling the softness of history itself. Before moving onward, her steps measured, slow, like the rhythm of a distant harp, like the pulse of the world at rest. She descended a spiral staircase, the stone steps worn smooth by countless feet, and the sound of her gown against the stone was like the hush of rain far away, soothing, endless, guiding her deeper, until she reached a hidden door, carved with vines and roses, its iron handle cool to the touch, and when she pushed it open, the night air welcomed her, fragrant with jasmine and thyme. The garden stretching wide beneath the moon's gentle glow, lanterns hung from branches swaying faintly in the breeze, their golden halos casting circles of peace upon the grass. She walked slowly, breathing deeply, letting the air itself carry her deeper into rest, her secret gown catching the dew, shimmering faintly like starlight woven into silk, and she followed the path that led her past fountains, murmuring softly, their waters catching the moon and scattering it into silver fragments. Each droplet a dream waiting to be born, each sound a lullaby, unhurried, timeless, eternal. And as she moved further, she came upon a cloistered arch, vines climbing its stones, roses in bloom even at night, and she passed through, finding herself once more within the abbey's embrace, where monks moved like shadows, their candles steady, their voices silent yet full of presence. And again she entered the chapel, where silence wrapped around her more gently than any song, where the air itself seemed to glow, and she closed her eyes, resting her hands upon her gown. And the gown seemed to breathe with her, its fabric rising and falling like the tide of the sea, carrying her further into dream. Time became unbound, unmeasured, flowing as softly as candle smoke, and the queen found herself walking once more through corridors she had never seen, chambers filled with books bound in leather, their pages glowing faintly as though remembering every word ever whispered within their lines, and she drifted past them, knowing that knowledge too could rest, that wisdom too could sleep. And as she moved on, she entered a vast hall where tall windows opened to the night, and the stars poured through like rivers of silver, washing over the stone floor, turning it into a mirror of the heavens, and she stepped lightly across it, her gown catching the light, until she felt herself as though walking upon the sky itself, every step a dream, every breath a star, every moment an eternity of peace. And then she drifted further still, beyond the hall, beyond the gardens, beyond the abbey, into meadows where fireflies shimmered like floating lanterns, rising and falling with the rhythm of the earth, and she lay down upon the soft grass, her gown spreading around her like a circle of light, and she gazed upward at the endless sky, the constellations leaning close, the moon smiling gently, the night alive with serenity, and she felt the meadow cradle her, felt the gown hold her, felt the stars guard her, and her thoughts became as light as feathers, floating away one by one until there was nothing left but stillness. She closed her eyes, and the meadow became a castle once more. The castle became an abbey, the abbey became a dream, and the dream folded into silence, carrying her endlessly inward, carrying her endlessly to rest. And now, dear listener, as the queen drifts deeper, let yourself drift with her, along the stone corridors, through the cloisters, into the gardens, beneath the lanterns, always slower, always softer, until your breath becomes the rhythm of the night, until your thoughts become the lanterns upon the moat, floating gently, glowing faintly, fading into stillness, and as sleep gathers around you, remember that the queen's secret gown is always there, ready to wrap you in peace, ready to carry you deeper, ready to guide you through the soft kingdom of dream, where nothing can disturb you and where every moment is safe, eternal, and full of calm. And if you enjoyed this medieval sleep story, remember to return tomorrow night for another journey into dreamtime.